Hi, this is Miss Kirk again, and today we're going to do the step up lesson number 3, or as your Pearson online says, 17-3, which is rational numbers on a coordinate graph. And we'll talk a little bit about rational numbers and what that is. A rational number is a number that doesn't continue on forever. So you know those repeating decimals that you sometimes get, like 1.555555, and they repeat forever and ever and ever? That would not be a rational number, okay? So rational numbers do not do that repeating kind of thing. So let's look at this. We have the coordinate plane here, and on our last lessons we were learning quadrant 1. So we've been learning quadrant 1 all year long, which is where you have positive numbers, and you graph positive numbers on the x-axis and you graph positive numbers on the y-axis. So you go over so many on the x and you go up so many on the y and you graph your spot. That's quadrant 1. So you've learned how to graph numbers in quadrant 1. But today we're going to talk about quadrant 2, 3, and 4 because we can also graph numbers that are negative on the coordinate plane. Okay? So in quadrant 2, that would be if I wanted to graph something where I started with a negative number on the x-axis and I went up a positive on the y. So maybe something like -2, 3, where you go over -2 and you go up 3. Okay? So that's why I put their negative and a positive together. That's their ordered pairing. Okay? Quadrant 3 is when you have a negative and a negative number. So it would be something like -2, -2. Okay, so if I went over -2 and I went down -2 and I said and had a spot there, that would be in quadrant 3. In quadrant 4 is when you have a positive x coordinate and you have a negative y coordinate. So it's when you have a positive as you're going over and then you're going down for that negative coordinate. So it would be something like +2 with a -3. Okay, and so if you're still confused a little, we're going to actually graph a few of them on the back, so I'll show you how you would do that. So I'm going to flip it to the back so we can graph these. So let's look at this. Whenever I graph, I always start at the origin. That's 0, 0. And then it says I want to go over +1. Remember, you always do x before y. So in this case, I want to go over +1 on the x. And it says I want to go down -1. So over +1, down -1. That's where that spot would be graphed. Now, what quadrant did I graph that in? Well, remember, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going counterclockwise. So in this case, I graphed that in quadrant 4. Okay? Let's do another one. What about this one? 5, 3. So I'm going over +5 and up +3. So I'm going over, starting at the origin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going up 3. 1, 2, 3. And where they meet, I'm just going to kind of show you where they meet. Right here. That's my spot. Well, what quadrant is that in? It's in quadrant 1. Okay? Over 5 and up 3. Now look at this one. I am at -4, 0. -4, 0. And so this one is going to stay on either the x, well, in this case, the y-axis. It's going to go over on the x, but it's going to stay on the y-axis. And I'll show you what that means. So I'm starting at the origin. I'm going over -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But did it tell me I was going up any? No, it didn't. So I'm actually staying right here on the axis. And sometimes you end up doing that, especially when you don't go up any, like 0. So every time you have a 0, you're going to stay on that line. And then let's try the last one. The last one is a -3.5 and a -2. Both of these numbers are negatives. So in that case, it's going to be here in quadrant 3. So let's look. I'm going over -3.5. Well, I start at the origin and I go over 1, 2, 3, but then I kind of skirt in between 3 and 4 to get 3.5. And then I want to go to -2 on the Y. So that's where that one would go. Okay, and as I said, that one would be in quadrant 3. I'm going to stop there today. If you have any questions, make sure you're reaching out to me. You will have a IXL lesson on the quadrants, so make sure that you, if you're struggling with them, you look back through this and understand them before doing your IXL lesson, and I will see you next time. Bye.